Xbox just won a freaking massive victory. They have now been officially approved to buy Activision Blizzard for $70 billion. Now, this entire thing has been a long, messy court case that I've been following very close because we've never really had any sort of situation like this where a console person, the fact that a company that makes so many games, that has Game Pass, that has their own definite focus in the industry, nobody has ever tried to buy something as big as Call of Duty, and now they've successfully done it. So I want to talk about this court case because it's officially wrapping up, and I'm still shocked by it. Let's dig into the nitty gritty. What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, real quick, before we start to get out our gaming shovels to dive deep, let's thank the sponsor for this video, Factor. Life gets incredibly busy and it can be difficult to eat healthy, which is why I'm happy to be partnering with Factor. This is a fresh, never frozen meal service with a ton of different delicious options. Stuff like Calorie Smart to make sure you can hit your personal dietary goals, or stuff like Protein Plus if you're trying to bulk up like I am. But most importantly, everything on the menu is just so good to eat. I like the fact that it's just such an instantaneous way to eat something that's not going to make you cheat on your diet. This week, for the first time, I tried their Gourmet Plus meals. This is an additional option for if you're craving something special. I had the roasted garlic filet mignon with broccolini and shrimp. Seriously, it is amazing. But you gotta try it for yourself. So for the viewers of this video, for the watchers of this channel, they gave me a special coupon code, which is DreamcastGuy. I'm gonna put it down as the first comment and in the description box, but you're just gonna go to Factor75, and by using the coupon code DreamcastGuy, you get 50% off your first Factor box. It is so good. Get started on being a better eater today. Okay, I hope you guys are ready because this is going to be a messy video. So we're over here on The Verge taking a look at an article by Tom Warren. This is just still completely insane to me. Microsoft wins its case against the FTC fighting to buy Activision Blizzard. Now, the Federal Trade Commission has been very much battling against Microsoft. They've been basically saying that Microsoft isn't really playing fair, that Microsoft is just such a big trillion-dollar industry that even though the Xbox isn't selling well, they can buy entire studios, they can buy entire brands, they can buy entire sagas, and it just doesn't seem fair, at least according to the FTC. They've actually basically said they feel like because Microsoft is able to have cloud infrastructure and stuff like really cheap Game Pass subscriptions, this may end up destroying video game competition in like 10 years. Now, part of the reason this case has even happened in the first place, one of the biggest questions I've seen a bunch of people saying in my comment section is, why is this even happening? Microsoft is buying stuff, but Sony's bought studios. Nintendo's bought a couple studios here and there. Why are they singling out Microsoft in this $70 billion case? Well, a lot of it comes down to this lady who's in charge of the FTC. She's actually, obviously you can tell just by looking at her, she's a young up-and-coming legal expert that was basically put in to try and stop really predatory businesses. She's been very anti-Amazon. She's been very good about trying to essentially highlight what she sees as misdeeds inside of the tech world. So it's interesting that Lena Khan, her first major battle was against Microsoft, and shockingly, she lost. But let's go back to the article here. So, a California judge is allowing Microsoft to close its acquisition of Activision Blizzard after 5 days of grueling testimony. Microsoft still faces an ongoing antitrust case by the FTC, but Judge Corley has listed the arguments from both the FTC and the Microsoft and decided to deny the regulator's request for a preliminary injunction. Straight up, what this essentially means is that if you're losing this case, you're probably going to lose them all. This was their main big bread and butter of like, hey, here's where we're laying it out. Here's why we're saying what's not fair about the case. And the judge, after listening to them, said, well, I mean, right now I think that Microsoft deserves to buy them. Now let me take a look at her official statement. Microsoft's acquisition of Activision has been described as the largest in tech history. It deserves scrutiny. That scrutiny has paid off. Microsoft has committed in writing, in public, and in court to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation for 10 years and in parity with Xbox. One of the biggest complaints I've seen about this is the idea of possible future exclusivity. That right now, Microsoft is playing fair. Microsoft is definitely saying, okay, we want Diablo to be on PlayStation. We want Call of Duty to be on PlayStation. We want Activision Blizzard games to exist outside of just our ecosystem. And now it seems interesting to me that they're agreeing to it. They're saying, okay, we will play nice, and maybe in a decade, they'll become much more clamping down on having their own big exclusives. It made an agreement with Nintendo to bring Call of Duty to Switch and entered several agreements for the first time to bring Activision's content to several cloud gaming services. This court's responsibility in this case is narrow. It is decided if, notwithstanding these current circumstances, the merger should be halted, perhaps even terminated, pending the resolution of the FTC administrative action. This is legal speak by the judge essentially saying, it's my tough job to see whether this deal is fair. Now, you and I as gamers may disagree about this. Personally, I'm reporting this as news. I talk a lot about gaming news. That's my big thing here. As a gamer, I am worried about this in the long run. A lot of people have discussed the idea of mega consolidation. Like right now, it's good that Square Enix is third party. Capcom is third party. There are games coming to all platforms. It is going to be weird when we start to see Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo start to actually gobble up entire companies, entire publishers, and make it only exist on one platform. Like right now, I like playing my Xbox, but it is weird to think that if someday, I don't know, let's say Diablo 5 becomes a exclusive to the Xbox, it would be weird that I would never be able to play those games with my PlayStation friends. It's a bizarre concept that consolidation in the long run, I do think is a negative, but it's crazy to think that this deal even got secured. In a legal aspect, the judge looked at the evidence, heard the case, and said, you know what, good enough for me. But let me go back here to the article. This allows Microsoft to close its Activision Blizzard deal ahead of the July 18th deadline. So really, they came down to the freaking wire, but only if the company is willing to close around the UK or if the Competition and Markets Authority, the CMA, is willing to negotiate some form of remedy. The UK regulator moved to block Microsoft's proposed acquisition in April, and Microsoft is currently trying to appeal that decision. A lot of the stuff happening over in the UK is still just about mostly focused on cloud gaming. That right now, cloud gaming is a bit in its infancy. Some people are using it, but let's face it, 99% of people are either gaming directly on their device, like playing Nintendo Switch, playing the PlayStation, or they're trying to just play stuff. Streaming is still a pretty limited avenue in the grand scheme of things, but Microsoft has the best cloud streaming. They have the best services, they have the lowest latency, they've got the most games. A lot of this interesting case is them essentially saying, like, if you took Call of Duty and threw this onto Game Pass Game Cloud, you're going to see a spike permanently. People are, from now on, if they're going to get a gaming service cloud, they're going to choose Xbox Game Cloud first. Does that matter now? No. Will that matter in 5 years? Probably not. But the FTC and the point of the CMA here is to try and figure out, okay, is this going to break games eventually? Man, I am still completely shocked about the fact that this thing actually got approved. The FTC will now have a chance to appeal the judge's decision ahead of July 14th, but the regulator didn't appeal on a court's decision permitting Meta to acquire Within, so it may abandon its case against Microsoft and Activision Blizzard instead. Now, from everything I have read, from all the legal people I follow on Twitter and stuff, it does seem like this is now a done deal. The FTC has not been able to show a likelihood of success in any one of its theories of harm. Essentially, as much as the FTC is trying to push back against Microsoft, it sounds like they don't have a good legal basis for why having, theoretically, Call of Duty on Game Pass would suddenly instantly kill PlayStation. Overall, I'm still just impressed that this went through. Like, the amount of legal effort, as a gamer, it's weird to think of a $70 billion acquisition like this going through. It's definitely changing the nature of how video game companies think. I mean, the fact that literally anything can have a price tag on it. But as a random fan, as a person that's just a YouTuber that likes to talk about gaming news, it's been interesting to watch this dumpster fire rage. I guess we're going to find out if it actually gets closed, but at this point, if you asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said that 20% chance this deal gets finished. Now, 99%, this deal is done. Microsoft is absolutely probably popping bottles of champagne. Already stuff like stock prices of Activision Blizzard, stock prices of Microsoft are breaking, skyrocketing. I'm not into stocks, I'm not into investing, but you know what? It's pretty bonkers that this actually is done. What do you guys think, though? Is this a positive thing? Is this a negative thing? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a big old thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. And please keep dreaming. Ooh, boy, man. Well, I guess now we never need to talk about this ever again. Aren't you guys happy? I'm pretty happy. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.